When we're working with animated geometry, we have some of our own housekeeping that we need to do when we're working with solver SOPs. So you can see that we've got this deformed grid here. It's just deformed by an animated mountain SOP. Now let's say that this had a color associated with it, so I'm just going to make this black. And what our simulation is supposed to do is just add a little bit to the color every frame. So we'll put down a solver. And what we're going to do is just grab an attribute wrangle here. And then very easy expression here. So we'll just say at CD plus equals 0.02. So every frame we're just going to add a little bit more to that. Now if we play the simulation, we can see we've completely lost our animation. Right, it should be moving, but it's not there anymore. And that's because it is only aware of the very first frame that this object enters the simulation. So we have the ability here and the requirement that if we want to have this animated, we have to take care of that ourselves. To do this, one easy way is to just use an attribute copy. So what I'm going to do is copy onto the first input from our incoming geometry here. And let's make sure that we are choosing only position. Since we are affecting color, we don't want to override that, but we can choose any attributes we really want. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the simulation. So now that's correct. One other thing that you might run into is when you're dealing with packed geometry. Sometimes when you're bringing in Alembic files or data from other programs, it's going to come in as this packed data format. And you can see now that what we really only see is one point here and one primitive. So when I play this forward, it all moves and does what it's supposed to do, but it really only evaluates this way. If we look at this from the solver, it's totally wrong. So what we need to do inside the solver, if we're looking at packed geometry, is unpack everything, do our work in here, and then repack it. So we will just put down an unpack. And then I need to unpack here as well. And then finally, we need to clean it back up at the end by repacking it. It's a bit of work to do each frame, but something like this is what happens when you're inside DOPS actually, and you're working with packed geometry. It does the same thing. So now you can see that this is working the way it's supposed to be working.